Oops. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Celtic Unfit Review podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford. Well, it's another positive week we've just had again, lads. Sam and JP join me this week. The European conference draw has been made, which we'll obviously speak about. We will get William, who obviously is on the podcast, a former agent, he'll come in soon and speak about obviously Bodo Glimt in a bit more detail. He's actually done a big article on his Twitter. If anybody's interested, give him a wee retweet. It's a brilliant article on Bodo Glimt, which we've also read, and again, it's given us a more insight in what we're going to be facing next year. Obviously, JP, Ross County tomorrow, mate. Start off for Ross County tomorrow. Another important game. Obviously, will we have strikers? Will we know who's going to be playing up front? I think that's a big question. But again, they say a cold night at Stoke, they were a cold night at Dingwall the morrow. So we don't know if some of the players, as you says, will they be up to it? Will we know it's one of the games where you look, this like maybe the other day against last week against United, could this be a day we drop points? Could this be a day we drop points? And I think people will be waiting for us to drop them more, and let's hope we don't.
Aye, first of all, good evening, lads. Aye, definitely, Ryan. The old Ricky Fulton sketch in it years and years ago. Who the fuck wants to beat Dingwall this time of the year? It could have been better. But no, you've got to win titles, you've got to win trophies. These are the places you have to go and show a good account of yourself and show what you're made of, and hopefully get the job done. It's always going to be tough when you get there because we know what to expect. They're going to make it stuffy. We stadium, we park. Probably going to be the best weather conditions either. I would imagine you think we're bad, it's going to be worse up north. Especially this time of the year, a week away from Christmas almost. So no, I'm not expecting the greatest of games. Met to the team. Can't see us having a striker again. Going with Big Angie's presser for the day. Looks very dull in that sort of side of the department, you know. He was asked about Kyogo and he wasn't really getting too much away. He said if he's fit for the cup final, I'll play him, but I'll speak with the medical team or a jargon. If you ask me, I think Kyogo's ready for the cup final, and I think he's saving him for the cup final. I think he knows he maybe don't know whether he's on social media, and I doubt it, but I think he might have heard some of the backlash because there was a lot of your fans weren't happy Kyogo played against Betis when Agüero went off his injury. And I do think that he's probably maybe learned his lesson when he knows, especially with the squad dropping like flies about the air. And it's a bit of a fluky sort of patch we're going through now because they're all dropping with the same injury. If you look at all the injuries, it's all the back of their legs they're holding when they're limping off. So, and then we hear again today that Mikey Johnson, that wasn't a tactical move. You know, he's another one that's possibly struggling enough for game time for the morrow. So, it's not the best situation to be in. But squad-wise, I think a lot of the boys are, you know, they're coming into that gritty stage of the season. Let's hope they've got a bit between their teeth and we can stay on the coattails of the mob across the water.
I think that's the main thing, mate, is getting the 3 points. I know we want to play this attacking football and the philosophy that Andrew's got, everything's got to be 3 and 4, but as we've said, this stage of the season, Christmas time, especially away to Ross County, I know we know Ross County aren't the best of teams, but as we shouldn't be Livingston, they will maybe put 10, 11 men behind the ball, try and counter-attack you with a attack, basically, and maybe we will be in tap most of the game, like we always are against most teams in Scotland. But as much as we've been so defensively, you know, mate, that we're always got a liability to concede a goal. We've always got a liability to make a mistake. We have been for years, not just about in Angie's teams. It was the same with O'Neill. It was the same with Rodgers. We still made a wee mistake here and there. And again, Sam, Ross County, as much as they're not really on form, it will be a tough game. I still think we've got the quality without a striker. As much as I don't want us to play there, as I said on the podcast the other night, a game or two without a striker, you can make do with, but any longer than that, and you're kind of going to territory you don't want to get into. And I just hope the more if it means that Moffat's got to be on the bench to fire on, Dawson's on the bench, it's just an attacking option, because who do you play up front if Michael Johnson's not going to be playing? Do you put a bad up front? Do you change your... I don't think he'll change formation, but you could play 3 at the back with 2 wing backs and 3 at midfield. I don't know how he's going to do it, Sam, but it is a tricky tie, I would say.
I don't disagree. And obviously, as JP said, it's the type of play season games that you need to go and obviously get points, because they're the games that ultimately decide leagues. It's not the big games against Rangers or whoever else. It's the wee smaller nitty-gritty games. But as you say, I think we have got the quality, regardless if Keogh goes out, which obviously I think he will be. But at the same time, it's just us. It's typically us to go to somewhere like this and end up losing points, whether it be obviously losing all 3 or a draw or whatever. But I still think we've got it in us to go and obviously do a job, and I hope we do.
Because I know last season, I think the first game against Ross County last season, I think it was 5-0, 5-1 up and done very well against. I think it was Shane Duffy's first goal, I'm sure. And again, I know that, but that wasn't this time of year. It's very... I know people maybe say you're talking Maloney, but we've all played football in some capacity. Some players don't like getting up to Dingwall on a Wednesday night. Like Big Samaras used to hate it. Even football players I've said who played them on a Wednesday night against Ross County, sometimes don't fancy it. Rangers, I can't fancy it. It's just the way footballers are. But I can't see his starting points personally, because I just think we're on the new where, and let's be honest, I know it's a cup final on Sunday, so players are playing for the cup final place as well. I know this team kind of picks itself with injuries, but if somebody comes in like, I don't know, just say James McCarthy comes in the morning and plays brilliant, he's maybe saying, "Oh, I want to play on Sunday." So it's a game again for guys to prove himself for the cup final Sunday. But I think Sam, I agree with you. I think we should have enough quality. But again, you've got to respect for Ross County. JP, it's a home patch. They want to come to the game to us. They want to try and take a scalp, and they might see similar to when obviously the Scottish Cup game last year, when you put off them, we were not really in a good bit of form. The squad wasn't looking good. They must have thought this is a crack time to play Celtic, and they might be that now because they're thinking, yes, in a good run, but they've no striker. They've got a few injuries, key players out. This could be a chance to take a scalp, so we've got to be on our guard.
Absolutely. You're looking at a team that's fighting for survival as well, Ryan, in a sense. Can't believe I'm saying this, but if you look at, they're down the bottom of the table. They're joint bottom with St Johnstone. Both of them are on 14 points. And I mean, St Johnstone, obviously they've got a game tomorrow night as well. They're the team that won the 2 domestic cups last season as well, so I wouldn't have thought they would have been done where they are now. It just shows you football's a funny old game, as I say. And but Ross County, I don't see why they wouldn't try and win tomorrow. But as you said, they're at home. You know, players are probably nothing major to fear. They take a down. It's not going to... I don't think even winning for them tomorrow is going... I don't think they're going to have a dramatic impact on, you know, where they are in the league. They're still going to be relatively third bottom, second bottom, or last in the league at the outcome of the game tomorrow, regardless of whether they take a beating or... But nobody wants to take a down off any of the bigger teams in the league. But no, it's a game they'll be wanting to win, and they'll be wanting to make it as tough as possible to make it less easy for us to go and apply our game. It's like he says, you bring a boy Moffat in, he showed his hunger and desire when he got in the team at pre-season. I think his first game he scored. I think was it Sheffield Wednesday he got a goal?
Sheffield Wednesday, yeah.
It was,
and he's had a couple of wee cameos here and there. And anytime he's played the boys, it's looked really positive for him. So he'll be full of life and full of confidence. I know him and Rocco Vatter have kind of been doing well for the Colts team as well. Another boy, Ben Wiley. They're all attack-minded players for the Colts team. You've just said yourself, the boy Dawson, I think they brought him up for Scunthorpe. So, aye, as I say, it'll be good to have, a good experience for these boys as well, because Ross County's a tough place to go for any team, not just your average teams in the league. The best teams in the league as well, including Celtic and that mob across the water, I'll always find it kind of tough going there. But it's not the ideal, in my opinion, it's not the ideal preparation for a cup final, because you want to, stamp good authority on it to get us bouncing off the coach and buzzing for Sunday.
No, I agree, mate. I think as well, obviously, because you've got the striking options to a minimum going to Ross County, and then you've got a cup final on Sunday. As you say, obviously the cup finals are a back burner because you need 3 points, you need to win the league, you need 3 points. But it's one of the ones, it's similar to the top, it's not similar to the Betis game, but he's got a dilemma, I was saying, who he plays, because you've got one horn, you've got a silverware on your hands maybe on Sunday, or 3 points to try and win your league. I know in football, the next game is always the most important, Sam, but I think his players, they must have won night Sunday. Aberd is a player. I've won the semis before and finals, and the wee league game before, you just want to stay injury free and no be injured for the final. So some of these players will be thinking that as well. As much as we want the 3 points, I think it will be in the back burner. But as we've just said, obviously we need to get the 3 points, and you've got to play your best team. But at the moment, Sam, as what JP says here, if Johnston might not be playing, they might be on the bench. Forrest is injured with the looks of it. There's your new striker. And obviously, what Ange says on his press conference, there was no mention about young players coming up the bench or no players starting. So, is it really the same team as during the week, apart from maybe somebody can run for Forrest? It's just Tumble play again. And as much as people give Tumble a bit of stick, Sam, for a few guys in the radio phoned in and says, he didn't have a rest of games, but he's doing a false 9. He's not a number 9. He's not used to playing in that position. And if you actually look at his stats of the game, most of the touches was outside the box. So that tells you the story. He doesn't want to be in the box. He's not a penalty box player. But I think no matter who's up front, it's got I don't want to say a graveyard shift, because they're still quality players and they will get chances. But if you're not used to playing up front, Sam, it's a hard shift to play, especially when you're maybe going to be playing up yourself, because you don't know how the wingers are going to be, how Ross County are going to play. So it could be a bit of hard shift tomorrow for whoever's up front.
Aye, I don't disagree with that. I think you're probably looking at the same front three, but maybe one of the young boys, because I've seen on Twitter Moffat did train with the first team. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm not saying I think he'll be on the bench, but it is, as you say, it's a hard sort of graft, or if it's going to be Turnbull or a Badder or whoever it's going to be, because any game's obviously difficult, but obviously, as we've said before as well, going up to Dingwall, trying to play that for 90 minutes, it's going to be hard. So I feel sorry for whoever's got the hard job tomorrow night.
And obviously the way we play JP, it is technically 3 up front, but when you've got a guy who isn't used to pressing, he will get cooked. Let's be fair. After 60 minutes, 65 minutes, he will need subs. And I was surprised. I can understand why in the weekend's game that he didn't make any more subs than he did. But I was sitting thinking about 10 minutes ago, fishing things up here. The guys are tired. We've got a game during the week, 2 games next week. But again, is he thinking, if I bring somebody on and they get injured, do I get a backlash again? He can't win. So to some fans, maybe me, I've given him a lot of stick for the Kyogo situation. I actually watched Open Goal and they were kind of agreeing with Ange, like he could get injured at any point, blah, blah, blah. But Kevin Kyle was kind of agreeing with 2 or 3 were saying on the pod that he didn't have to play him. Didn't need to play him. It was a game that, somewhat maybe like the Morris game, if he was just coming back fit, just put him on the bench, just play somebody else, because you've got a cup final Sunday. But you're going to always have a balance. Well, guys are saying most of 3 points are important in a cup final. It's a pure, basically a do or die situation that he's in. So, but I think tomorrow, do you know what I mean? Thought about a team for tomorrow, because you don't know who's going to be playing. You don't know if he's going to drop one of the defenders and play Welsh. Is he going to keep the 2 at the back to rest one for Sunday? You don't know if he's going to play McCarthy for the beat on to rest him for Sunday. You don't know what he's going to be doing, because you don't know who is fully fit. And the thing actually got a bit annoyed today with it. I don't know if you noticed it, JP. Ange says that Forrest was fully fit, but then he says but we can only give him an hour. I'm sorry, but if an hour, you're not fully fit. That's just, I don't know what you take for that, JP, but if you can only play 60 minutes, you're not fully fit. Maybe put him on the bench and play half an hour, but if you can only play an hour of football, to me, you're not fully fit.
I think in terms of Forrest, Ryan, I think he was meaning more today with fully fit as in he's ready to play. But it was a long-term injury he suffered. So in terms of being able to play, our being able to play and him being able to play, it's two different things. Because when we're looking at Celtic fans' perspectives, looking at that, saying, if Andy's saying he's fully fit, but he can only play an hour, then why is he saying he's fully fit? I think it was maybe a wee bit misconstrued, and maybe the big fella didn't use, the proper explanation in the moment to kind of say what he mean. But I kind of look at the bigger picture. I kind of go and I understood what he was possibly meaning he was ready to play, aye, because I think people are questioning why are you playing him and then he's breaking down. I think he's meaning that, well, he's ready to play. Trust me, my medical team and he's training well, and it's arguing against, he's not ready to play. But I think Ange really meant he's ready to play, but because of the long-term injury, his body's not ready to play the way I really want him to play. But he is ready to play, and even his injury, they still don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely mental. Like, he's been half glitching his leg, and that's 2 scans he said me, and they don't know what's wrong. And he's, as I say, I personally, it's all the same injury, but see if you look at the injuries, Jota, hamstring, Forrest, his hamstring, Mikey Johnson, glitching his hamstring, Kyogo was only glitching his leg. When I seen it back on the telly, I recorded the game on Thursday night and I watched it when I get back in. And when I seen it back, I knew right away that's not a hamstring injury. Actually, he was holding the back of his leg just underneath his backside. So, and I knew right away, I went, that's no hammy, as in he's pulled his hammy here. He's maybe just felt a wee twinge. Mate, he bounced right off Big Carvalho. And I'm not being funny, I'm a big bit of boy, but if I'd have bounced off Carvalho, I'd have felt that as well. Do you know what I mean? He's a big, rock-solid, man-mountain of a guy with a massive frame, and his shoulders are probably big in my head. So the wee man's, as Andy said, he's like a jockey compared to these guys. You know what I mean? So I think they just the sheer. But don't forget, Kyogo was running fast. He was running probably near enough at full tilt when he scalped into him, trying to win the ball. And he's maybe just felt a wee twinge in his leg. I personally don't think, I don't know about you boys, but I don't think Kyogo's injured. I think he's just took him out of the team now, gave him a rest. He's played 11 and a half months worth of football, non-stop. He's not had much of a rest. We've got more important games coming up. Then I don't mean to be disrespectful, but then a game against Motherwell at Celtic Park and a trip to Dingwall on a Wednesday night. I think we've got more important games to play. But then, for me personally, as you said there, Brian, if he's fit, you put him on the bench, but don't risk him. I think it's more of a risk just to throw him in and expect him to come and hit full pelt in the middle of a cup final.
Well, see as well. See, obviously, the last Thursday when he came on, he only done it was like a 15-second warm up, mate. He came up, he jogged, and back down again. See, a warm up, you can't do that. You've got to give the guy at least 2 or 3 minutes to get himself stretched off and warmed. Because that was the first time he actually jogged out, I'm sure.
Did you see the video with Wisla Kobe?
What's that, mate?
Did you see the video with Wisla Kobe?
No.
See, before, I don't know what he's like now with Celtic, right? But see, Wisla Kobe, apparently the players all travel themselves to the home game.
Okay, right.
Like they don't go in like a hotel and go on a match day bus and travel together. So what the wee man used to do is he used to turn up about an hour and a half before the game.
DJ warm up
for the players, and he used to stretch. See some of the stretches, the way Iniesta explained it. It was like the Bruce Lee film when he's bending his body into daft shapes, and you're going, what the hell? How the hell can it? And apparently that was all part of his warm up and pre-match preparation. So his stretching techniques happen before he goes on the field. So you
see
don't
what-
know what he's doing. You don't know what he's
Aye.
doing in the main, in the dressing room before.
But you see the only thing we're doing that is, see, if obviously it must be fantastic what he's doing, right?
Mhm.
Especially if he's sitting on the bench for 20 minutes in a freezing cold night in Glasgow, he's going to stiffen up. Know what I mean? Again, I don't know the situation. I'd like to think he's no injured.
I think he's all right though, because as far as I'm led to believe, Griff left a few boxes of tea cakes there for the boys anyway to keep them nice. I think they're taking over well, lads. You know what I mean?
A wee tea cake, a wee hip flask at the side of tea.
A wee hip flask, aye.
But I don't know if personally I can't gauge with Ange. Normally you can gauge with a manager's like glint in his eye or a wee wink or something. You can kind of tell. I can't tell if he's going to be playing on Sunday or no. See, even if he's as much as I'm saying I want my players to be fully fit, right? It's a cup final, right? See if he's even 80%, I would shove him on the bench. So I think right away, right? See if he's on the bench or he's part of the squad, it gives the players a lift. And I like to think it would give Hibs a bit. I think you look at, oh shit, he is playing or he is in the squad. Similar to, I would maybe say similar to the Edouard situation where when we beat Rangers semi-final, Edouard was probably nowhere near fit and he came on the last 15-20 minutes and you seen right away Goldson was shitting himself. And he
Was it not the final? He actually gets the free kick. He skins Goldson and draws a free kick for Julian's goal.
At the semi-final?
No, it was a final.
No, final, sorry.
Final.
Aye, you're right, sorry. Right,
it was a cup final.
Sorry. Talk shite, aye.
I know what you mean,
aye. Edouard probably wasn't even fit to play that game.
Just Goldson's face just
as soon as Edouard came on, he got a foul right away, boom. And it brought the team up right away. And then obviously, I know Mikey Johnson missed the chance, but as soon as he came on the park, it lifted Celtic. And I think if he's on the park, I can't even made a comment on the group chat 2 weeks ago or last week. I don't know if it's the United game, but as soon as Abada came on, Kyogo was he lifted right up, man, against United. Was it United that happened?
Aye. I don't know if I said it on the group chat, but I have mentioned that even at Celtic Park. As soon as Abada comes on the park, Kyogo looks like a different player.
And that's nothing to do with Forrest or Jota or whoever.
No, it's just a wee thing that they two have gone together.
Aye.
It's just obviously a wee relationship they two have built up together.
So, I don't know what you think, Sam, but obviously we don't know if he's fully injured or he's fully fit. We don't know. I think Ange might be bluffing to try and play with the media. We don't know. We can't engage with these things. But if he's fit for any sort of capacity for the game, it's not going to, I would say, bring the fans a bit more positivity going into the game as well. And I like to think it would give Hibs a bit of fear, and it would obviously give the squad a bit of lift, knowing that he's might be able to play in some capacity.
Aye, as you're saying, like I know it's Hibs in this sense, but the opposition will look at it and go, "Oh crap!" Like he's there. Because it was the same with the Leverkusen game where they beat us 4-0. I know they were close to coming back, but I didn't think he was going to throw McGregor and Kyogo on right for the start against Leverkusen. And the minute I seen that gave me a lift, and I was like, all right, okay. I was like, I'm feeling a wee bit more optimistic. And
that was a big shock to me that night, Sam, in the stadium when I walked out and I saw it there, and I was like, what the hell?
Aye, I'd seen it as well when I looked at my phone. I was like, all right, okay. I wasn't disappointed. I was like, more sort of pleasantly surprised. And obviously, you could probably sort of say, like, you looked at it and go, right, I'll give a wee bit more of a chance now because you've got two of your best players back. So even if, obviously, as you're saying, if he is at 70, 80, 90%, whatever it is, put him on the bench. Because, again, it gives every day a lift. And for talking sakes, if we are sort of struggling a wee bit, throw him on, sort of fresh legs. And obviously, we all know the running he can do sort of in between the defence. So I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be on. That's just me personally, anyway.
See, the thing for me, JP, is that it's probably typical Celtic and typical just the way we are. They'll probably have nice strike on the bench tomorrow and they'll probably put Moffat or Dawson on the bench for the cup final. That's just the way Celtic are normally. He'll put a young boy on the bench. See, like tomorrow night's game, but a guy like, I know what it sounds like, JP, Moffat and Dawson might be on the bench, but that could be, like we've said, that could be a game where they go in the last 10 minutes, get a goal, and it just lifts the boys' careers. That could be a sort of game for them. I think Ange might be, obviously Henderson was on the bench the other night.
He came on and scored.
He came on and scored. Then he was on the bench again Sunday with Shaw. So they've obviously done something right to continue to play on the bench. Will they be on the bench again? Will Warner maybe even come in? I don't think anything will come in. Will Shaw come in? Maybe no, but I think the only big changes might be up front. But again, we don't know if he might bring in Welsh and take away Vickers or Starfelt and keep them, because he might think if they get injured, give anybody to come on the centre back and on the bench for Sunday. So I know we're probably making this out to be a massive dilemma, but you've got to talk about everything. I like to think. Ideally, I like to think the order should be I keep saying routine, but it should be a routine when you've got the quality still. You're going to have your backing for the fans, so you're not going up there, but you're also counting with no fans. You're going to be backing the fans, most of the stadium. I'd like to think most of the possession under the lights and Dingwall. I like to think you'll go up there and win. I'm not going to say comfortably, because I don't care how we win. I just want to get the 3 points, get out of there, and focus on the cup final on Sunday.
I'm the same with you, I would love nothing better to go up and get a couple of early goals, start putting them under pressure right away. I reckon if that happens, then you could be looking at a very comfortable victory tomorrow. But like you say, mate, the kind of results are very far and few between, especially up at Ross County. They do make it hard for you. They do, regardless of what kind of personnel you've got, they still find a way to make it hard and lower you to that sort of level. And before you know, the game becomes a bit broken and you end up in a wee bit of a dogfight. You could end up, as you say, you're suspect to try to put everything into getting up the park to score, and you've broke up the park, and then all of a sudden, right out of nowhere, the boy Charles Cook's caught you in the break and he scored out of nothing. And that's usually the thing that totally deflates us. And especially when you're in the stands and you'd be coasting 3-0, and then all of a sudden they get a goal. It happened to Hearts.
Aye.
All of a sudden they get a goal, right before the death, they make it 3-2. And it makes the game look a bit more, or they were in that there, they were unlucky. And when you look at all the, the possession, the stats and everything that it takes, and I know people go, possession doesn't win football matches. It does quite a lot of the time. Because if you've got the ball and the other team haven't, there's no chance of you winning the other team. There's very far and few between. Do you get results where the team that don't outplay the other team ended up going on to win the game? It doesn't happen very often, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not a specialist at it, but I would imagine that sort of thing doesn't happen very much unless it's one of the best counter-attacking teams in Europe.
As you say, that's normally what would happen to us in Europe. I can't remember what game it was recently. But Leverkusen, I thought the first half we were very good, and then obviously the second half they gave us a sucker punch, and it's typical Celtic. We go 2-1 up. You weren't cruising, but you weren't under a lot of threat, and then boom, second, boom, third, and that is the reality that sometimes happens with Celtic. And doesn't really, as you say, in Scotland, normally when you've got most of the ball, you'll have most of the chances. Like against Motherwell, with most of the ball, with the most chances, we got a goal eventually, and we won the game. And as we says, it kind of flattened Motherwell 1-0 at the game, and you weren't really in any threat. Apart from the last few minutes, it was a bit nervy, but apart from that, I thought it was a comfortable win. But again, Sam, what JP says here, it's just about us getting the win. But the thing is, I think there's a start. I can't remember exactly how many games it is, right? But I'm sure it's like 83 or 84 games, roughly around. But then when we've scored first, we've won like 75 or 76 of the games and drew like 6 or something. In fact, there's something like that. We've
never lost.
We've no lost when we've scored first to the last 80 odd games. So as it's that kind of accounts for what JP saying, Sam. If we get the first goal, you're thinking unless barring a massive downfall or mistake for Celtic, like JP says, a silly long ball at the top, which we can copy sometimes. You like to think you're going to go and win 2, 3 or 4, but it's all about getting 3 points.
Aye, I totally agree with obviously what you and JP are saying. As you said, I don't care how we get it. I'd like us to play well, don't get me wrong, but as long as we get the 3 points to take us on to the next, after the cup final, but the next league game after the cup final, that's all that matters to me. I don't really care about much else. But I see us winning comfortably, but as we've said before, it's Celtic, so we could easily have a major catastrophe. Don't think we will, but it's in our sort of playbook to do it. So I don't see us losing tomorrow, but again, I've ate my words before, so I might eat them again. So we'll see what happens.
Haven't we all, mate?
I ideally, from my point of view, I'd like to say that we would. It's not a phone call conclusion, but I'm confident up there and win. But I think on shows like this, or even sitting in a pub and whatever else, you've got to look through every single avenue that could happen. What we've happened before, and you're thinking we should have equality, but by rights we should. I know Rangers is obviously a harder game, but out with Rangers every game. I know you can't win every game, but you should be going and winning 2-0, 3-0. But that's football, and it doesn't always happen. But technically, with the players you've got, it should be. But we all know football. That's just not what happens in football. But obviously, JP, the next European game, the Bodo Glimp. I know a few in the group chat were talking, and a few people on Twitter I've seen actually were actually quite good draw for Celtic. I'm one myself. You don't know nothing, man. This team are very decent. They're up and coming. They're wise in Europe. They beat Mourinho's team, and Mourinho actually sent a very strong Roma team to Norway. Don't forget, it wasn't in the squibs. It was top bifters. So. And we all know about, obviously, Williams done a good report on them, and it highlights the dangers that we've got. Me personally, I didn't want them, JP. I think at home you've got a massive chance of beating them, but going there, I'm sure that they might be Astro. Am I right?
Aye.
So again, it's that 4G stuff they play on.
We all know we don't do well in Astro, especially in Scotland. It's going to be -5, -10. It's going to be the Arctic Circle. It's going to be a tough game. So you've got to go there, in my opinion, with at least a 2-0 victory. I know people are saying, I know this is a different Celtic team than it has been in the past for going in Europe. Leverkusen, we've done well, and recently in Leipzig, we've done well against better teams, but it's going to be a tough game, JP. I think we will be. I think we should be able to do it, but it's going to be a hard task.
I totally agree with you, mate. Listen, any game in Europe's a tough tie. European football is maybe not where it used to be maybe 10, 15 years ago. When you maybe at the beginning you would take the minnows side of, your Linfields and maybe some of your Irish teams. They've improved now dramatically for when I'm talking about, but maybe your Victoria Guimareses and teams that that out that you've went away and smashed. But no, they're a Scandinavian team, so you know right away it's going to be a graft. I think the fortunate thing for us is they actually don't kick a ball now to the players. So they'll be playing us round about when we usually enter our qualifying campaign. And the way the COVID thing's working, I'm not sure. Maybe William will know this himself, but I'm actually not sure as to how well they're going to be able to organise friendlies, because a lot of the other leagues haven't stopped the way theirs has. So it's going to be interesting, man. I think they're a very good side. They've got a very young, attack-minded side, being coached by a very young and forward-thinking, modern-day type coach. I think William put on an awe was the guy that's their mental coach to get them all ready mentally for games and stuff. Used to be a Norwegian Air Force pilot. Yeah, they don't come any tougher, I'll be honest with you. Like, I can only imagine that right away. I mean, seen a wee glimpse of the video where them all sitting on a table when the draw was made, they're all sitting clapping. So they must think, yes, here we go. We're going to be right up for us. But you've got to look at, I know a few of the boys were talking in the group chat and they were saying, this mob, this could be dodgy. They'll be thinking the same now. Because Celtic, for me that season, Celtic equipped themselves really well. And they took the game to some really, really good sides. Especially like that Leverkusen team. And the Spanish Betis. Because I don't know if you have noticed for Thursday. See that? Is it Guillaume Ballack and some of the sports writers? They've had an absolute doing for Thursday night because of what happened. That was disgraceful as far as the Spanish are concerned. That was like Celtic's kids, they're calling it. And to go and lose a game at that sort of, at that level, that's totally unacceptable. Even Pellegrini came out and said it in one of his interviews. Mm. So they're not happy, you know, and a lot of people see Twitter, people can say it was a dead rubber, it was a damp squib, it was this, it was that. You don't get any kind of games when you play with Celtic, mate. We spoke about this before, and no, in my opinion, you don't anyway. You play with Celtic, you're out there trying to win it for the cause and the people, and that's it. And people are saying, oh, it'll be played like a pre-season friendly. Nonsense, absolute nonsense. It was a European tie. There's coefficient points to be won. There was lots still to play for. You want a bit of pride. You ended up finishing 9 points in the group as well. You look at the group overall and you say, the Leverkusen game away from home, you're up 2-1. You see that game out. We're in that draw for the Europa League and not the Europa Conference. But Bodo Glimt, no, they are a very good side. You've only got to look at their results. I think they've went the whole season unbeaten as well in their domestic campaign.
I think so, mate. I've done well.
And they just won the league on, was it Saturday? They won 3-0.
The weekend, mate, aye.
So, they've got very good players. My only hope is that they lost some of their good players before we play them. No, not my only hope, because you want to see Celtic playing against good players. You want to see good players come to Celtic Park. That's what you pay your 30, 40 quid to see. You want to see some quality coming and playing. I'm not saying Bodo Glimt's probably not the mouthwater in like your Paris Saint-Germains or your Man Cities or whatever, but they're a good side. They're a very good side, and I'm sure the other two ties will show that. I'm really confident in my own team, though, and I think early two ties, we might just have enough to get by the tie. If you look at, you're talking about potentially could be the 3 Japanese boys coming off, obviously in the January window, maybe 1 or 2 else. I doubt Angel Stoke there, but looking at others as well. Probably looking at a couple going out the door, going the other way, maybe to free up the wages to get their signings. But so you've got to look at that as well. Not just, and then you've got to remember, go to February as well. So we need to know how our squad's going to be sitting then. We're already being slaughtered with injuries here. That luck's going to change sooner or later for us. No, surely to high heavens, that's not going to maintain the level it's going at the now. Because we'll end up with a game of 5 aside if it's going like that, you know what I mean, by the time that next round comes. But they are a good side. And in terms of the draw, to me it doesn't matter who we get, because if you want to beat teams, you want to win tournaments and win anything. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do, but if you get into these things to do well. If you want to do well, you need to beat teams that are put in front of you, and that's just the next one.
I'm kind of, as much as I'm saying it'll be hard to, I've obviously got to talk for their perspective. I didn't want them. I thought it'd be a very hard, no impossible, because it's no impossible. I'm just saying if it's one of the toughest ones I thought we could have got. It was very, I know Karabag might have been an easier one, but it's just travelling away there. The type of where they're going to go, it's just these wee things, the impact in game. People might say it doesn't, but to me, I think it does. But I think, Sam, the fact that JP mentioned there, the squad might be a bit more heavier by the end of January. Well, if it's no, then the board definitely needs help, because we can all see, Sam, that Ange needs reinforcements. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the Japanese boys. At least 1 or 2 can win back before the Rangers game. Again, it's all paper talk, media talk, and they don't really know the ins and outs of everything, but we like to think there's a few can win right away. So by February, you'll hopefully be top of the league. Hopefully your team will be a bit more settled, a bit more preparation to play these teams, because we played Scandinavian opposition. Denmark, sorry, that's Denmark. We played the summer Midtjylland. We done no preparation, and we probably should have still qualified. So you're going in again, maybe 8 months later, 7 months later, better squad, better prepped. You know a lot of the team now, so it's not as a daunting task going away in Europe than it would have been at the start of the season. So I think it's just all about us. If we play, I think if we play to the best we can, Sam, I think you'll win the game. But it will be a very tough game for us, in my opinion.
I'd totally agree with that because, as JP said, they've got a really good coach who has been linked with really, or no disrespect to Bodo, but he's getting linked with higher sort of ranked jobs than obviously he's at the now. So it shows he's clearly done something right with the team he's obviously currently managing. So I'm with JP. I back my team. I think we will win. It'll be difficult. I'm not saying we'll steamroll it. But I still think we'll win. But they'll make it obviously as difficult as they can, both home and away. And come then, as you said, I think we will be better prepared both tactically and sort of with the bodies that come in, whether it be the 3 Japanese boys and whoever else comes in after that. And as you say, if we don't have them in and whatever the reinforcements are badly needed, then the board need sort of crucified at that point. But I'll leave it at that. But Bodo Glimt was one of the ones I looked at and I went, they're a decent team. Like I think they're underrated. Like people look at them and just think it's a team for Norway. Or no Norway, because you said Midtjylland. A team for Denmark.
It's Norway, aye.
They're Norway, mate.
Norway. My point is, like, they take a look at a team like that and think they're nothing. But as we said today, like you look at players in teams like that, and you can unearth underrated players in there. The likes of your Bjorkans, who's obviously a bit healthier, Berg, who more than likely leave. So you've got players like that. So it'll be difficult.
Don't get me wrong. Pellegrino's quality. I know. I'm sure he's Brazilian. And they've got another boy. Is it Solbakken?
Solbakken, aye.
He's really good as well.
Aye.
So as I say,
they
will bring quite a bit to the table, mate. I agree with you.
Aye. So it's, but I should expect us to win at home at least. And as you said, we need to take a good sort of goal advantage over there to have any chance of qualifying. But I generally think the squad can do it.
Because I know they've no go. It's not a big stadium. They've going to stuff like that, but. Like we said, the Astro, it's going to be a tough game. It doesn't matter if you're playing Celtic Hartson, or I know Celtic Hartson have got an Astro, but it doesn't matter if you're going to play Montrose or you're going to play Livingston in an Astro, or even Barcelona in an Astro. An Astro for me, I didn't like playing on it personally, and I know players don't like playing on it. It's a kind of a level, in my opinion. Just shows you Celtic, 9 times out of 10, the Celtic Park will beat Livingston comfortably. But as soon as you go to in the Astro, it's a game changer. People say it's all an Astro, it shouldn't matter, but it does matter when you're playing on perfectly laid pitches every day and you're no training. It's a big difference to these professional players. But
is it not a bit different for the pitches here though, Ryan?
It's better quality. But obviously you're still playing in what I would call I hate Aston. I don't like playing on it. I don't like watching football on it, and that's one reason why we can even talk about it now. Getting away for this game, obviously Solbakken's a major player, but see when you watch Scottish football and you had Kilmarnock, you had your Hamiltons, and you're watching that on the telly, you're like, no, it just looks shit. It's a shit quality, and it just looks shit. Even though you're Celtic, you're thinking the ball's not running fucking smoothly, the ball's bouncing up our players' feet. It's just not a true game of football. But as soon as you put Celtic and Kilmarnock at Celtic Park, it's 3-4-0 every day of the week. But as soon as you go there, do you know what I mean?
Look at Big Julian. Big Julian got Lyndon Dykes. He's moved to QPR because he made Lyndon Dykes look like Ronaldo.
That's what I mean. So, but I do agree with you, Sam. Definitely, I'm more confident, but you've obviously got to look at their side, and there will be a tough game. And I know some fans will probably want to make the trip. Obviously, with COVID rules, you don't know about the travel restrictions if you can go to Norway. But if they're going to go to Norway, they may as well take a bank balance because it's like 12 quid a pint. So I don't get we go to this one. I'm going to take a mortgage out to go to Norway. But obviously, as you mentioned, JP Solbakken, I know Berg. It's been a lot of people on Twitter talking about Celtic should get him because they don't pay a lot of money for him, maybe a few million. He would slip into Celtic, I would like to think, for his attributes. But I think Solbakken for me is the one. I think he's, as Sam talked about, underrated players. I think he's very, very good. I know we've spoken to William a lot about him, and just everything about him. He's quick, he's direct, he kind of comes in after the side, he makes so much runs, and if he's still there, he'd be a guy to watch out for.
Aye, absolutely, mate. And by the way, we might be getting away with jail because they've no long let go of another one. I actually think he might have went to Japan or China. Casper Juncker, his name is.
Never heard of him.
He was their centre forward.
Were we not linked with him?
Previously, I think we were, Sam, briefly, but I think that might have just been a bit of hearsay and, he said, she said, one of the ones. I don't know how concrete that would have been, because we've linked with Patrick Berg as well, and the only one that's kind of shown real concrete interest in him, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, is RC Lens, which is just emerged today. That they're the ones that have came forward with, a potential package for the boy, because he's getting into last year's contract as well. And the boys even said in a recent interview that, they might want to sell me, meaning, to me, that's a big come and get me play, that's if that's not as clear as day, then I don't know what is. But, as I said, it could be, I would imagine they're not silly. I would imagine, going with the way they ran and the modernising of them, the way they work, there'll either be somebody come in or they'll have somebody ready to replace these guys. Whether they're, good enough to come in and ultimately challenge and showcase their talent against Celtic, or because playing against Celtic's not easy for everybody. Sometimes they kind of games will bypass you. You might be a good player playing with Aberdeen and playing with Hibs or playing with Motherwell or playing with Fenwick Barros, but I mean, you come up against these clubs like Celtic who'll really test you with, in my opinion, an elite manager. And I think he's proven that in his CV before he's even came to Celtic. Who knows how to change things in games, wee tweaks here and there that we probably don't pay attention to that much, but you go, oh, hold on a minute, he's changing. And then when you see it, you go, that's clever, and it just suddenly impacts the game more in your favour. So that's what good managers do. On the spot thinking. They're proactive instead of reactive. And that's what separates elite managers to your kind of middle of the road managers.
No, I agree, mate. I definitely agree. I think Andrew's shown a lot better than we maybe thought, because obviously we've spoken about before, a lot is new about him for Australia, but we didn't know the in-depth until we just heard the name. Obviously we all looked about him and checked his Wikipedia and checked his YouTube, and I know I'm sure he's got a book out and stuff as well, so there's a lot to take for it going forward. But obviously another topic that I think it's not really spoke about, well, it gets spoken about, but I don't think it gets spoken about in any depth, Sam, is obviously the referees. Sometimes I try not to speak about it, but listen, I think it's just time to get spoken about, because it's not just about Celtic getting free kicks and fouls against us. It's a full referees situation. Ideally, I'd like to talk about obviously how to help them, if it's full time, if it's VAR, if it's more eyes on the park. We've got is it having a fifth official all the time. I know finances might stop that, but some of the decisions that it's not just against Celtic, Sam, it's ridiculous. But for me, we'll talk about obviously the weekend's game, Celtic game. Well, obviously, most of Celtic fans and Rangers fans are lying if they say they're not watching the games now, because the league race is tight now. It's tighter than me personally I think it should be, but that's just the way football is. Rangers are back when the league now it's basically close again. So you're watching each other's games. And I think if somebody say they don't watch the games, then I think they're maybe telling a bit of pokey pies, because most guys aren't, if they're able to watch the games, they'll watch the games now because they want to see how bad that team's getting on, so you know what you're playing against and blah, blah, blah. But for me, the Hearts game, Sam, some of the decisions that went against Hearts, again, it's ridiculous. The penalty, I know it was half and half whether the ball was in the route, but the referee played on, so it's a penalty. If the ball was out and it was a goal kick, then obviously it's not a penalty. That's Michael Owen shit I'm saying here. But that is, I know it's what I'm saying, but I'm just trying to say this, JP, that if the ball was out, fair enough, the foul, it's no sense, it's a goal kick or a free kick, whatever it is. but the ball wasn't out, so it's a penalty. It's a handball, clear as day handball, right? But what I want to speak to you, Sam, is why was that not analysed for half an hour in sports scene? But Kyogo's thing was analysed, the other side was analysed. Oh, it was all the paper, all the press. Kyogo's this, he's cheating, he's diving, but he's offside. And then you've Crawford Darling came out and talking about it. Where's Crawford Darling talking about the handball it wasn't given? Is it there? No. So what's your opinion on that, Sam? Hit me.
I can tell you're passionate about this, right? I'm with you. I could go on about it for hours, but like I was out on Sunday, so I never seen the full extent. I seen obviously the handball. I never seen anything else that might happen. But as you say, it's obviously Michael and stuff. But if that stays in, I'm like partially blind, obviously, because I've got specs, and even like it's clear as day. You can see that. You can. It doesn't take an idiot with like a pea brain to work out that that's a handball. Like his hands stood here at his side in an unnatural position. See if you're like that, put your hands behind your back, because you know you could play it in, and then obviously your hand's sitting there, and it might be a handball. It's just, and then obviously you're saying with the Kyogo one, and that gets scrutinised, not even just in sports, and just across the whole media in general. As you say, where was that for Goldson's handball? It's. I don't know if they're just pulling the wool out of their eyes to just look at ours and then obviously no look at any, like, not just Rangers. I'm just talking about anything else. I know we were talking about that one in particular. But why not scrutinise that? I agree with you. It's baffling. They
don't scrutinise it because it doesn't suit their agenda, mate. That's why.
Aye. No, I know, but my point is, like, you need to be, but I know people support teams with just the right idea, but you need to be biased. Unbiased, sorry, I should say. You can't scrutinise one and no scrutinise the other. But as you say, it doesn't fit their agenda. So, and then I know we obviously went and made a complaint about Crawford Allen coming out about us. So at least it showed a wee bit of sort of fight. Again, I reiterate the wee bit. I keep going about for ourselves, but it's madness. It's genuinely madness. Because it's not just that. There's been other ones.
The only reason I'm pointing that out is obviously because it for me was a penalty to Hearts, right? But the only reason I'm pointing that out is because there was no big media about that. There was nothing about that. There was no sports scene analyst. But as soon as Celtic got an offside goal, which, let's be honest, it was maybe offside, but it was touch and go. It was tight. You can look at it from different angles, and it's miles off, and some angles it's no. But that is a clear as day handball. It's an unnatural position. You've got to be calling for it. You've got to be screaming for it, right? And then again, right, and the red card that happened to Janelli, it's a red card all day long. It's his own fault for going to Barry. It's the referee. But then again, they're 2-0 up. But Hearts are on the attack. They're under pressure. Red card. Nick Walsh, 3 games, 3 red cards. Doesn't matter if red cards or no. Some record, JP.
Aye, he's consistent. I'll give him that.
Consistently shite.
Well, as any striker, we were looking for that sort of fluency, mate, I'd imagine. But no, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And by the way, maybe that game aside, but it becomes apparent when they're banging trouble in situations, they're helped. And they're helped in a dramatic way that impacts the other team or impacts the result of the game. Aberdeen 2-0 up at Ibrox, and they get a penalty for a guy who turned into fucking a Tom Daly impersonator. But how the hell was that a penalty? That's another one you could go on about. How was that not brought up in the media for 2-3 weeks down the line? The Ryan Porteous sending off. Shocker. Haribo does it in another game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same tackle as what was there in the actual game that Porteous is sent off. By the way, Hibs are 1-0 up earlier. Mm-hmm. In the actual game that Porteous is sent off, it's a big lad they brought up for Sheffield United, what's his name, Lundstrom. He makes the same challenge on somebody else. Not even a booking. Just a word in his ear. The game at Celtic Park on Sunday, Big McGabby. So a challenge like that, I don't even know what he tried to do.
That was one.
He
That was one of the
he just
Rogies.
takes big Rogics right out
Aye.
again. See, that was McGregor that made that challenge on one of their boys.
A
That'd have been a yellow card. Starfelt made one challenge, his first challenge at Paradise, and he got booked for it.
Yep.
It's not even, you know, it's maybe once or twice, or, you know, the old cliche, it's an honest mistake. Well, you must not be very fucking honest, because you're making several honest mistakes.
And
Like
listen,
your
I'm
honesty's, the honesty's dripping out, you know what I mean?
And I'm no one just to say this is about Rangers decisions, because obviously
No.
I'm highlighting this because I watched the game.
I seen one, Ryan,
It's a clear
perfect one week ago, you see there. Ojo, up at Tannadice, or up at
I was
Pittodrie.
going to mention that one. I know.
He leaps right out of the back, and the Dundee United fan gets up and slaps him in the head. And he actually squares up to the guy. All right, maybe he shouldn't have done that bit yet. But I didn't want it, and I said, you've got to protect the player.
Exactly.
And Bobby Madden just think red card.
He actually charged for that, I know, for doing that. Ojo.
Another thing, I know. This is another thing I know, Sam. See, whenever the referees do anything wrong, and when they go away and they analyse it, and then they come out publicly and they say, you know what, I get that wrong, I'm sorry. Sorry, you've just cost, you know, with your guesswork, you've just cost a team points, and you've cost a result, or you've cost a player points on his behavioural list, on your point system, where he could be banned for an important game next because of your incompetence. And referees don't seem to be getting any retrospective punishment. Because if any of us are rotten at our job, we're punished for it. Should they be any different just because they're at the top flight of football? And I agree with you, Ryan. I think any top level football, Premiership football, should have VAR. It should be mandatory now at the top level in each game. If we want to talk big about our game, then we should have what comes with being big on our game.
It's similar that we say Celtic need to modernise the club to move forward as a football club, and Celtic need to change way football. I know finances might be the thing with Scottish football, but Scottish football has got to modernise and go with football. As much as some of us don't want the VAR, it's going to help the referees in some capacity, and I think it will take a bit of flack off for referees. I know it's not a decision that would have went to VAR, but I think, Sam, I don't know if you've seen it, if you've seen it about the one with David Turnbull at the corner.
Aye, I've seen that.
That was unbelievable.
I never saw that, Ryan. I actually thought the ball wasn't on the line, and that's how we made him take it again.
That's at my end, right? I was standing right in front of it, sitting down, watching it. Taylor's touched the ball, he's went away, and Turnbull's ran with the ball. No, take it again. David Turnbull is not going to put a ball down and run with the fucking ball. He's not going to do it. I know football players can be a bit silly, right? But he's not going to put a ball down and run my ball for no reason. He's never done it. He's not going to do it. And even Greg Taylor and Turnbull like to referee. Are you kidding me? I've touched it and moved away. It's all classic corner, Sam, that everybody knows. When you do it once, you don't do it again because teams catch on to it. It happens at amateur football and junior football all the time. You try it once, it pulls off. After that, you don't do it again because your team knows that you're going to do it. Motherwell didn't know what Celtic were doing. Celtic were just about to take a corner with Turnbull, and the ref pulls it back. Maybe it's a mistake, but you should be watching the game. You should be watching that corner, and you've missed it. The two linesmen have not seen it. That's no incompetent. That's just poor refereeing. I couldn't believe it, and I thought the referee, Sam, because he won the game, it's not a talking point. But I thought that I'm not wanting to sit and criticise the guy personally because that's their job and they're trying their best. We all understand they're trying their best, but the referee was no very good, and that is me being lenient. I thought he was very poor. As JP says, the yellow card on Mugabe, even a yellow card on O'Donnell, the mash for the one for Hart, there could be a red card for the one the guy kicked Joe Hart and they get booked. That could be maybe a red card. Again, and I was like myself, he's going to send Joe Hart off you. That's what I was thinking. I was like, no way he's going to send it. But again, he gave him a booking. So I obviously, we're more on the Sam about decisions against us or decisions that are no for us. And But even St Mirren are getting decisions against them. Motherwell at Fir Park and Gate, it's just something's got to change, and I don't know if that is going to be full time. Is it VR? Is it getting them? I don't know what we can do to make it better. Is it getting foreign referees in to help it? But at the end of the Europa kind of ones are doing that. I don't know what you do, Sam, but something's got to help these guys. As much as we're getting them a bit of a slagging here, in the hand, you're trying to talk to try and get them help by doing whatever it is we need to do, because it's not going to help the Scottish game if we get better referees, because you're going to get a better quality of football if it's no stop, start, and silly bookings all the time.
Aye, I don't disagree with that, because, like, again, we're criticising them, but that is their job at the end of the day. They're trying their best, as you say, but you look at some of the decisions and across all games, again, not just us, and it's absolutely madness. But I only use ours as an example because I only watch our games. I don't necessarily watch any other game in Scotland. It's just another one I was going to bring up. I know it get eventually turned into a red tier, but the butcher one on Turnbull at Tannadice, at first that just gave us a yellow.
Horrifying, I know, when you see it back about 5 times.
It's just a bit of finding that the compliance officer wakes up for a change, IP. Yeah?
Aye, definitely. But then there you go, Sam. You've just said that. What happens to the referee? Because he got it wrong, and he's not even far away from it either. So how can he say that's only a yellow card? But I get, right, I understand, right, people are probably screaming it in the comments and all that, they know or whatever. They're probably screaming, no, they only get one view, they can only see it once and blah, 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 which is fair enough. But you, as a referee, surely you've got to position yourself so that it gives you the best possible opportunity to see what's happening in front of you. And I don't know if it's sooner or later it's going to be called. Once or twice you could go, right, you know, that was a wee error, that was a mistake, okay, an honest mistake, right, fair enough. But it's the same mistakes that are happening time and time again. And by the way, it's the same referees that keep making the same mistakes. So sooner or later, there's got to be a higher panel in the SFA to say, like, what exactly is happening here? Why do you keep making the same errors? Why do you keep breaking up the play every 2 minutes? Why are you not letting it go? Why do you keep, you know, because is it Ewan Anderson's name? I've never even heard him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The guy who's the referee in Sunday at the Celtic game. And I mean, even me daft things like, no, you know, back here, no, back there, no, back, just really slowing the game down and stopping any sort of real momentum for going. Like, and then, like, there we go. We talk about decisions, right? Referees, the Aberdeen game. I think it's Dylan McGeoch. Dilly Dally's on a shy, or it might have been Johnny Hayes. It was one of two of them. Dilly Dally's on a shy. Bobby Madden gives him so long, eventually he ends up being a body Celtic. The same thing was happening on Sunday, and the rest just kept going like that. Now, how many times as well in the first half did the boy Liam Kelly
waste time?
As soon as Joe Hart did it once, the ref's like that.
Yep.
On the whistle, move. Like, it's unbelievable, man. I'm beginning to think now it's just.
But see the Hayes,
the rest and a different set of standards for the team in green and white, and that's the way it looks.
But see the Hayes people are going to think, if people listening to this or watching YouTube, whatever, they'll think, he's talking baloney. But being honest, we're no here when it comes to that game you were saying there. I was at the end, obviously, for the Liam Kelly, the second half, and he was wasting time. But the first half, when Celtic, just before we scored, he was wasting time all the time. Every goal kick, it was 25 seconds, taking his time. But as soon as Celtic were 1-up in the last 10 minutes, Joe Hart was wasting a tiny bit of time. As you say, hurry up, play.
Mm-hmm.
And even at the end of the game, it was only 2 minutes they played. They played more than 2 minutes, I'll tell you that. It was a lot more than 2 minutes they played, because everybody next to us was saying, blow up. I'm thinking, they're going to score here. And I know we're getting them gyp here, JP, but see, even the one that baffled me the most, right? The first half, I seen it now. Bear in mind, I'm sitting the other stand for this. James Forrest. That's a corner kick any day of the week. I seen it from way back there. And he gives a goal kick.
He gives a goal kick, exactly.
But the best it is, you've got two officials seen that, and they can't even give it.
Have you seen where that Ireland ball was in front of me, the linesman? And I think it's Tony Watt plays it right across the box. It would have been done at your end.
Aye, it was a goal kick, and he gave a corner.
And he gave him a was it a corner or a throw? And he gave a ball to him, and it was Celtic's ball. And you're like, what are you doing? Like,
it's one of the ones as well.
Try and hide that if you're no.
See the referees.
So blatant.
As much as a referee might not be able to give the right decision, that's where they two come in and try and help. They're 4 extra eyes to see. So if VAR's in, I don't know if I'd be able to give the James Forrest situation, but see if for talk's sake that led to Motherwell goal, you're going to have your heat as much as you've still got to defend the long ball and whatever else, but that's been you in possession of the ball and that wouldn't have happened. So is it, Sam, is VAR the only option you bring in, or is it to try and get better referees in the country? How do you train them up better? Is it? I think it's all due to money. Personally, I think it is money. Money's a big thing. Obviously, ability of the referees, but I think VAR personally, I don't want it to come in, but I think it's got to. I know what I'm contradicting myself. I don't want it to come in because it's the hassle it takes to get it done. See if it comes in and it's done quick and it's regimented and it's a routine and it's done right away. Boom, get it in. But see all this waiting 2-3 minutes for a goal, it kind of ruins the game. It stops and starts the game. But if it can get it down south, Sam, they're getting a bit quicker now, I've noticed. So see if they can get it in here. If it is next season, the decision's made right away. Within 30 seconds, it's gave, boom, I'm all for it. I want VAR in because not just for Celtic, not just for this against Rangers and Scottish football in general, I think it's going to help the referees. But there's got to be something done because it's no fair on the referees, us having to look through games and getting gyp all the time because they're not getting the right decisions. And again, we're only getting them gyp because we're only fans, we can only see what's on the park. And what we think is wrong, we've got to go on platforms like this or platforms, talk to your pals in the pub. You've got to talk about it because I don't think it gets brought out enough, Sam.
No, I totally agree because I even think, obviously, you were saying about bringing foreign refs in, just like a quick sort of point. Because, for example, the ref in the Betis game, I thought had an absolutely abhorrent game. I thought the decisions he gave against us, that were horrible. So I don't even think bringing in foreign referees will help. I think, I get it, again, as you said, it's money it all boils down to, but I think now VR needs to come in. It needs to, because in the long run, it will help Celtic. I don't want to even talk about them, but it will help every single team in Scotland because the decisions will be fair because they'll be looked at. It won't be just a quick sort of look and whatever and people screaming at you and then you get a decision. And as you say as well, like if it's quick and whatever, then I'm all for it. I think I read a wee while ago it's the system they used in the Euros that they would have brought in, so that is kind of quick. Like when it was used, it was quick. So again, if it's done like that and if it's done right, I'm all for it.
I don't know what your opinion is, obviously, in the full VAR, JP, but obviously the opinion of what do you think is the best thing to help the referees? Is it go to do with how obviously I don't know how the referee coaching is or the qualifications. I don't know how that comes in. I don't know what they do, so I can't judge that part of it. But even I don't know if it's because football's changing, JP, when it comes to I've not played for 4 years, right? But see, when I played a wee touch, even yourself, it wasn't a foul. But see now, as soon as people get a bit of contact, they're wanting a penalty, they're wanting a foul. Just because there's contact doesn't mean it's a fucking free kick or a penalty or a whatever. It doesn't mean that at all. It's got to be clear. It's got to be a foul. Just because I nudged, see that I nudged now, it's a foul, and you're thinking, are you kidding me on? These guys are athletes. Their core should be absolutely ripped, solid. They shouldn't be falling out just like a sack of totties. And referees, again, players are calling referees, ref, boom, free kick, penalty, yellow card. The referees need to be stronger and be more vigilant and go, you know what? No, that's not a foul. But again, it's because some of these referees haven't played football and don't really know what is a proper foul and what's no. Because if you played football, some of the decisions you see getting engaged, IP, you're thinking, If that happened 10 years ago, that's nothing. But nowadays, when you fall through somebody, but you get the ball first, a red card, but he's got the ball first. So he's fall through, momentum's taking a guy through, so he's not doing that with a fibble. He's got the ball first and he's fall through something. So how's that a fibble? I don't know what we need to do to help JP, but for me, something's got to be done, and it's got to get spoken about more. No, just to criticise him, to help him, because something he's done.
No, but a lot of the criticism is justified there, Ryan, because their decision making is just all plainly down to guesswork, and some of them seeing what they want to see. So a lot of it is justified, and people might look at us and say they're just talking one load of waffle, and they're just sour grapes because they're Celtic fans and blah blah blah. No, it's not really, because we're not actually just mentioned Celtic the other night. We've mentioned other games as well. In terms of helping the refs, Ryan, I don't know what you would do, mate, because I think it's been spoken about previously for years, and this and that, and you could do this and do that. I don't think foreign referees, as Sam says, because a lot of times when you play in Europe, a lot of the referees, well, they're sort of know that you're not walking away going, the ref had a good game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something happens in the game, especially now. Well, now they've got VAR, and I'm all for VAR. VAR can sometimes you've got to remember as well. It's the guidelines that they're given, not that we are saying. It's the people it's the guidelines that the referees and the officials are given. We might throw our opinion and say, it's never offside and it's never. But now they draw that line, and it's all down to the finest of points, and they measure it through. There's like a graph on screen, and it's right into fine detail with VAR. So what we think's offside, maybe no offside now, and what we think's onside, maybe no onside now. So as I say, but I think it doesn't help with this, because the guidelines for UEFA and all the governing bodies keep changing on, offside rules and this and that, and all of the rules all keep changing. And it's they're just getting used to one set, and then it's changed again for the following season. Then you look at the substitutions as well, and some competitions you can play 5, some competitions you jump back to 3, and so the refs have got quite a lot to keep in mind as well. And as I said earlier on, they only get one look at a decision. They've no go, especially here. Everywhere else has got VAR, and that's where we're lagging behind. We need VAR. And VAR will put a stop to, as what Sam says, the weird teams. They're going to benefit from VAR, because you look at John McLaughlin, he was the last man twice, on 2 different occasions, and he pulls the boy down. He's only yellow carded. Somebody says to me, there's a new rule now, the last man rule and all that, blah, blah, blah. I said, don't talk one load of baloney. He's the last man, he's pulled the boy down. It's a red card, he stopped a goal scoring opportunity. And no matter, I've played football as well, that is a red card all day long, every day of the week, twice on a Sunday. And, all right, Dundee get a penalty, and they miss a penalty. But momentum changes when the goalie's sent. If the goalie's sent half, the momentum's all changed again. So the decisions need to be done properly. And regardless if you're the team that commits it or the team that's been presented it, a fairer way of doing it would be to bring VAR in, especially in Scottish football. And as Sam says, I think the announcement's been done, and it's not happening now until after the World Cup. Where I don't know if they're going to wait till just the end of that season, or they're going to try and implement it for the World Cup finishing and all the domestic campaigns all. And by the way, what a palaver that's going to be. I know how they're going to fit all that in. Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference. They've got that many competitions now. I don't know how they're going to. And then a fixture backlog of all your domestic. What you're going to miss between December and January. It's a crazy It's going to become a crazy world, the football world next year.
See the thing as well, obviously you're saying that. Do you think it'll be, I don't know, do you think it'll be in every SPL, every top division? Sorry, I'm here. Every club in the top league in Scotland, you think the VAR will get in, or do you think it might just be just Celtic and Rangers and maybe
it's the Scottish Premiership now. No, it's the Scottish. Announced as the Scottish Premiership. So all the teams who are in the Scottish Premiership will have access to the VAR.
Like I was just thinking as well, right? It's a wee thing I've just kind of floated there as well. Obviously, we're talking about Sam, how they need to be maybe coached better or whatever the day training wise, right? It's the guys, JP, who you're a bit older than me, so you'll know who I'm talking about. Your guys like your Dallases, your other guys who are Dougie McDonald's, the guys who lied, they're all coaching these guys. So you're getting failed referees to coach referees. How does that work? If that was me or you, Sam, in your jobs, guys who are hopeless at their jobs, teaching you to be your job, you're going to pick up their traits, you're going to pick up what they're doing. Are you going to be a top quality whatever you're doing? Probably no. So is it help that need for them? Well, obviously, I'm saying them are failed referees, right? They're referees at top level in Scotland, so they obviously had something, right? But we all know
Dallas was a top ref, as in he was at European stage and all.
That's what I'm saying. So I can't.
He went on in the game.
I'm not going to say they're failed referees, but when it comes to some of the decisions they made here, they were pretty shocking. So if they're giving that advice to some guys that are coming up, it's not going to help them. So is it maybe referees, maybe different cultures of referees to come in? And I don't know what you would do, Sam, but just it's the last wee bit on it because I don't want to have it too long, right? But there must be something to be done if it is. I think VAR, Sam, might be the only option.
Aye, as I said earlier, I think it is because you could bring foreign referees in, but I still don't think it'll help.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as JP said earlier, many times you go away for a Celtic European game at Parkhead, or if you're watching it in the telly or whatever, and think, right, that referee had a decent game. Most of the, because you're never, nine times out of 10, you're never going to get a referee that gets the right decision every single time. So, but many games do you look at and go, he had a decent game? Not very rarely.
Very rarely.
I think, as I've said before again, VAR is the only option. There's nothing else I can think of anyway.
I think it'd be freeze here. Don't know what other fans or listeners that listen into it. I don't know what they would think and obviously debate for themselves. But for me, I think VAR's, as I say, I'm not a fan of it. But if it's done properly, set out properly, and obviously everybody knows about it, what's going to be happening every game, I think it's got to be done. And obviously, I could debate about referees here, but the last wee bit on the morning, JP, which are predictions and thoughts about tomorrow?
Prediction wise, I think it'll be a tough game. I think again, you get 1-0 at Celtic Park there tomorrow. I don't know if it's just me, but I've noticed we seem to play better, a bit better when we're away from home. Mm-hmm. It's as if a wee bit of pressure comes off us when, you know, there isn't a full 62,500 there screaming at us one way or the other. But I do think we're a better team away from home than more so than we're at home. I tend to think when we're at home, we don't maybe start as fast as what we do away from home. And under Ange, all the games, if you look back, the games that we've started really sharp in are all the games when we played away from home. If you look at AZ Alkmaar, we scored right away. Fenwick Varos, we scored right away. I think Midtjylland, that game came, McGregor's goal came quite early in the game earlier, I know. So, as I say, and then domestically, but for me, the Aberdeen game was a big turning point in Pittodrie. We hadn't won away from home in quite a long time. Performance-wise, the best we've seen is probably Tannadice. Close second to that was maybe the one at Easter Road. You're looking at half-time. Hibs fans were actually leaving that game. Before that, Hibs were flying. You know, they were like Hibs and Hearts were sort of neck and neck with one another in the league as well at the point, and Hibs took a bit of a doing off us that night. It could have been a lot more than just the 3 goals. So again, that was another great away from home performance. I pretty much want the same, Ryan, to be honest. I would like us to start on the front foot, take the game to them, try and get an early goal, maybe a couple of early goals, and then just game management from there. Don't do anything stupid and turn up. Turn up, we'll give ourselves a chance. These games are so vital. If you want to win a league, you're trying to challenge for a league. These games, you need to. It's not about playing pretty. No, for me. It's about the end result. It's about 3 points. Come down the road. Try and not get any more injuries if you can help it. We've got a cup final on Sunday, and let's try and give a boost before we hit the cup final. If that means you need to not play a couple of players and give a couple of the younger boys that come in and showed a good hunger and the Real Betis game, then so be it. But let's try and get a positive result and look forward to the cup final on Sunday.
I think I'm rough about the same as you, mate. I think it'll be a hard game, but if we want to continue the way we're going, then 3 points is a must. I'm like you. Football these days, as much as we want to play top quality football and fast flowing football, I couldn't care if it's a 94th minute smash. As long as you win the 3 points, I couldn't care. I think obviously the talking point will be who's up front, but I think no matter who we play, Sam, I think it's just all about us. If, as JP says, if we turn up to what we know and what we can, then you like to think Celtic win a game.
Aye, I totally agree. It's, for me personally, it's more a case of what we do well rather than focusing on the other team. When obviously we, as fans and everybody else, knows what our strengths are. So, as JP said, I'd love us, and I think we will take the game to them, and do all we can to get a good result. I'd love us to play good football, but again, as JP said, it doesn't need to be pretty, and if it means grinding out a 1 or 2-0 win, whatever it is, then so be it. And as we said earlier as well, as long as we get the 3 points and get back down the road for that cup final, that's ultimately all that matters.
I think that's really the kind of topic of the full week, really. Get 3 points, move on to the cup final, which is, again, first silverware of the season. So, again, it's a massive week, I would say, for the season. If you don't get a win against Ross County and you don't win the cup final, everything we've really done, you're on a back burner again. So I think it's a massive week for us. Get 2 wins, and it puts you momentum again further forward. And again, thanks again, lads, JP, Sam. Hopefully we're talking about another victory for Celtic and a good performance. But hail, lads, take care. Cheers.